Yo, what's going on? Hello, everybody. How's everything? Marv, you know I don't have headphones, right? Yeah. My mic working?
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
can hear you.
What's going on, everybody? This is that One Piece Talk. Welcome to episode 83. My name is Larry.
Lawrence.
Seb.
Oh, I forgot Lionel's not here. This is that One Piece Talk where we talk One Piece.
Come on, bro. Come on, Seb. You gotta do better than that.
Oh, Strahd says the audio is acting weird. Is there an echo?
I don't hear an echo.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I don't see an echo. Larry was lollygagging before stream, which is why he's not prepared. It's his fault. Don't blame Marv, although it is partially Marv's fault.
Yeah. All right. I'm here. Hello, everybody. Welcome. How are you? Thank you so much for being here today. I greatly appreciate it. We do not have a chapter. It is One Piece break week, fellas, right? So usually I would come up with questions or something like that, or ask like the Discord if they have questions they would want to ask. But instead, I figured since we've slacked so much on call-ins, let's just make it a full episode of call-ins.
Yeah.
So, just want to say hello to everybody. Thank you for being here as well. Before we get into the actual call-ins, we're going to go off and read whoever's in the chat, and we're just going to go and say what's up to everybody. And we have a super chat I think I saw, so...
Yeah, we did. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. Before we get into that, I just want to say we are 50 subscribers away from reaching 5,000. If you guys have not already, please subscribe to the channel. It would be much appreciated for dope One Piece content, man. But yeah, shout out to Aaron Tate, Lord Vegeta, Strahd, 𝙬𝙀, I Hate Mo, Hayden Humphrey, Blazer, 3-Day. Shout out to 3-Day, man. Gabriel Montoya, Chubby Pandas, Dobi-Wan, Brandon Wigfall, Nerdtaku, Nick Quavo, Jordan. So many of y'all in here, man. Mike G, Wild Canyon. There's so many people here. Gandhi Usopp, Jinbei Goody. There's so many people in here, man. I'm trying to catch up on all the names, but we really appreciate y'all being here with us.
Yes. Thank you so much. Just for everyone to know, I'm most likely going to be dropping my theory video on either Thursday or Friday. And I'm going to do a watch party as well. It's titled, and I'll just say the title just to get everybody hyped. It's titled, The Ancient Kingdom Needed to Be Wiped Out. Theory.
Okay.
I've told these guys a little bit about it. If you visited the Twitch, you've probably seen me working on it a bit. Literally only have like 2 minutes more of editing to do, and the thumbnail's being made as we speak. So nice. It's going to be a fire theory. I think it's going to be another banger. Tonight, I'm going to be hosting game night. I realized, we haven't been doing game nights like we used to. Pretty sure, things have changed within the Discord a bit. So I'm going to host it tonight, and then I guess further on, we're going to talk about who's going to be doing those things moving forward. So 9:30 tonight, I'm thinking about playing Among Us. So if you guys want to join me, please do. It's going to be fun. But other than that, I don't have anything else to say about anything. Oh, I'm going to be on Nerdtaku's Theory for Theory this Thursday, I believe. So that's going to be super dope. We were on the One Piece Reverie.
We were?
Yeah.
I didn't know we were.
I didn't know either.
I was mad to see.
I didn't know either.
Yeah, I did not get to tune into the Reverie almost at all, but I know a lot of our friends were on. Mm-hmm. Hopefully y'all supported. Yeah. I know it was on Randy Troy's channel this time around.
Yeah. It's very, very iffy relationship with Randy Troy. But he did invite us at the very 20 minutes that it was about to end in. Okay. Because I was in it and I was just saying, what's up? And then I entered it. And then obviously I brought the energy up because it's, me. So, okay. It was good.
I'll have to check out that last 20 minutes to see what Larry was saying.
Yeah, it was funny.
Whether he was.
It was funny.
Repping for the TOPT.
Yeah, there was a lot of kid slander. It wasn't me either.
That's fine.
It wasn't me either. So that was good. We saw JD Legend. We saw Arthur again. Yeah. We, Parvision and Hidden were there. Threeville was there. There was a lot of people there. which was pretty good. So I had fun for the time I was in it.
Oh,
I'll
cool,
say
cool.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
And then like, somebody was like, I think they super chatted and was like, next time have topped there. and then Randy Troy read it out loud. And he was like, well, they're here right now.
Oh man, I wish I could have tuned in, man. It was football Sunday.
Yeah.
And my Giants took
Yeah.
a W yesterday. All right, so did your
Yeah.
Bengals. It wasn't a great looking W,
Yeah.
which I got one. You feel me?
I guess.
Is the Revy held like, was it every year?
It's like held
it's
2 times a year.
twice a year or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
something like that. So hopefully we get invited to the next one. But if not, we're still good. So I don't care.
We do our own thing. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Like,
We're like the
we have no
Straw Hat.
rivals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, is there anything else we need to do?
Yeah, there's one super chat from 𝙑𝙤𝙪. It's $5. It says, do you think Kuma intended to be a Trojan horse within 𝙑𝙤𝙪 and was set back from his mission as a result of the revolutionaries rescuing him?
So like Sabo acting like that means Sabo wouldn't have known. Like who set up the Trojan horse then? If he was supposed to, because Sabo's the one that saw Kuma in that state, unless he was like expecting to be the Trojan horse, but that was too much for Sabo to like see Kuma in that state. It was like, nah, we can't have him get be treated this way. But I don't think Dragon would do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because
So it's hard to say because it's like Dragon clearly was like not anticipating what happened just then, like when Kuma left.
yeah,
So it's like, if like you said, who set up the Trojan horse? If that's the case, and it's in even beyond that, like he was asking him like, tell me everything you saw, because he was trying to gain information. It wasn't like a, hey, this is what your next role is, like this is what your next job is, or anything like that. So it seemed to be Dragon was definitely the one lacking information. So he's the one running the revolutionary. So I don't think it was something that he set up. I think it has to be a Vegapunk thing.
yeah.
So
I believe that Kuma's state of what he's in, his mind, his body, all that is just between Vegapunk and Kuma. That's a deal that they worked out amongst themselves, outside of Dragon's like input on it or insight on it. So I think that whatever deal they struck, like Vegapunk said last chapter, he has a very good reason why Kuma's in the state he is and why he can't bring him back. So I don't know if Vegapunk could actually reverse Kuma's state or it's far past that. But either way, Vegapunk said he had a good reason for it. And I think that's between Vegapunk and Kuma, and Dragon is not really part of that.
Yeah, I agree too. I think that you both said the exact same points I was going to make.
Yeah.
I can't see anything else happening. It definitely has to be between Vegapunk and Kuma.
Yeah.
And then Dragon is kind of like on the outside of whatever they agreed upon.
Right.
And then when Kuma finally, I guess, releases that information, the Revs will know.
Right.
Because obviously Sabo didn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
exactly.
Trojan horse, maybe. But that does further complicate the story a bit of Kuma, because now it seems he has more information than even Dragon does regarding the celestial dragons and the history about his origins or his own people that are very different from everybody else, which has been insinuated. So don't know.
Yeah. The question is though, like going with the Trojan horse thing. There's the Kuma. Can Kuma, like, you know how Vegapunk wanted that brain thing where people could plug into it?
Yeah.
Satellites do it. Can Kuma do that? Can he plug into what the satellites plug into and learn what all they learn?
Well, we hypothesized that that's what's possible.
Yeah.
Like we suggested that that's probably what's happening, but that was before he ended up going to the red line.
Right.
So it's like maybe he's not connected like we thought, because if he was, he just would have went to Egghead. That kind of would have confirmed it.
Right. Exactly.
It's mine. Oh, it's yours. Yeah. Put your joint on silent, bro.
It's on. It was just vibrating. You didn't hear anything. And I lowered it. It's
Shaking my head. SMH.
that's me.
SMH.
All right, bro. So
That is
yeah.
delicious.
Anything else?
Oh no, that's the only super chat we got. But thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. For anybody that's new to our channel as well, we are available. We have our own Discord. It's in the video description below. Me and Sebastian's personal YouTubes are in the description below. And also, if you wanted to basically see me play on Twitch or edit videos of One Piece related stuff, that's in the description below as well. Also, arigato. Other than that, Marv, I would say throw the. Oh, never mind. Don't throw the phone number up just yet. We got more super chats.
Yeah, we got a $5 super chat from Luffy. Need to try some booty meat. Still the greatest name on YouTube, man. And it says, do you think for Vegapunk to be able to transfer Kuma's memories into his brain, since he probably has enough space to store it? Oh, Vegapunk to transfer Kuma's memories into his own brain, I assume that's what he meant, into his own
Maybe.
brain.
I think that would be a clash of memories though. I think memories are different than your actual personality, right? Because what Vegapunk currently did was he transferred certain parts of his personality into these satellites.
Yeah.
And that's it. But all of them share their memories together. Now, if you transfer memories from one person to yourself, don't you just become that person anyway? That's like taking that person's will, in a sense. It seems too complicated.
The memory part is weird because I guess Vegapunk's probably smart enough to create a compartment within his brain where it's like I can just access these memories. But now we're talking like he's treating his brain like a computer, which he's already technically doing. So it's like because he's doing cloud storage with his brain right now, where like he's able to gather information from other people. You know what I mean? And it's like I don't know. I feel like it's Vegapunk. So if you can think it, he can probably think it and make it happen.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no theory that I can hear about Vegapunk. I'm like, nah, he can't do that because he's supposed to be this amazing scientist and he's already doing all this crazy stuff. So it's like, yeah, he can compartmentalize somebody's memories into his own memories and just make sure that they don't crash. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I don't know what the gain would be per se.
For Kuma, to Kuma?
With Kuma, he definitely saw things on Mary Joa that could potentially help Vegapunk, but I think that would help Dragon more so than Vegapunk. You know what I mean? Unless that's how he found out that they were gonna try to kill him. If it was something like that. But I don't know.
I think Vegapunk could be able to do it because I think memories in a way can serve as in a way knowledge. It's kind of the same thing, so to speak. The only problem is memories, you think more of emotional attachment to it. So you could be emotionally affected by those memories, but knowledge is, it's information, right? But they both share an aspect of it. If he could separate the emotional attachment attached to those memories, then, but it's Vegapunk. So I think he might be able to do that if you could separate, knowledge, information from emotional attachment to certain memories. Or you could be selective with memories. I just want useful stuff, not stuff that would make up, like you said, make up that person's character. You know, so Vegapunk, if he's able to splice his brain to do that, he should be able to do that to someone else's because it's damn near impossible to do it to your own. But he did it, so doing it to himself, because he's able to in a way do that, so to speak. I can make this one pure logic. I can make this one pure evil with my memories. I can make this one pure this one in that aspect. So he should be able to do it. The only ones like Sebastian said, for Kuma though. Where would he gain from learning Kuma? Unless he just wants a mass amount of information from everybody, to learn from different perspectives, I guess. But it seemed like he more wanted to share his and more and gain from others depending on what they know. But what would Kuma know? Because I feel like he already did that already if he didn't do it already to Kuma. Because he already dissected Kuma's brain, Kuma afterwards, I don't know, because he is recording stuff, what I believe. Yeah. That's how he was able to share it with Dragon. That would be the way Vegapunk would learn it, because through his recordings.
Yeah. I think it would act like corrupted data, to be honest. It would be inserted, and it would be like a virus onto, Vegapunk. He would have to upload it to the egghead itself.
Right. Okay.
Instead of implanting it into himself. Because once you have two memories combined, you necessarily become that person. And then if he was to give that memory back, it's now those memories are intertwined. So now he becomes a piece of Vegapunk. And I think that's when the will aspect starts coming into play. It's super complicated.
Yeah, it is.
The memories thing. Next.
We got another $5 super chat from Gabriel Montoya. It says, can't call working. In Uta's world, Sunny had a body, therefore had a soul, like Mary. Agree or disagree? Elaborate. Like the stream, #Buggy Gang. Oh, man, I love that Buggy Gang is still a thing. It's so good. So great.
So, in Uta's world, anything was possible. She can do anything You know what I'm saying? Necessarily, that wasn't real. Any of it wasn't real. It was a pocket dimension she created that she was allowed to alter anything at will. So, I mean, we know the Sunny has a 𝙁𝙁𝙪𝙗 most likely. Like most things that have been created by other people, they also have some type of wills inside them. So we have shipwrights from Water 7 that have done so, and then we have the samurai or the blacksmiths from Wano who create these swords that also have, you know, like people in them.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. So there's definitely a 𝙁𝙁𝙪𝙗 for the Sunny. I don't think there would ever be an actual body, though.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, same.
So, like, the 𝙁𝙁𝙪𝙗s, obviously, they exist. They grow over time and stuff. And I guess the real question is, are we going to see it?
No.
You know what I mean? I think that would be the real question. Would we ever see the 𝙁𝙁𝙪𝙗 for the Sunny? I'm going to say yes.
Oh, the 𝙁𝙁𝙪𝙗, yes.
Yeah.
I think we'll see it.
I'm going to say yes, that we'll see the 𝙁𝙁𝙪𝙗 for the Sunny. But, like, a real, tangible body that, like, takes shape, I don't see that happening in the canon.
Same. I agree.
Yeah. Other than that, nothing else, right?
Yeah. No more
All right.
super
Marv, throw up the phone number, please. That way we could talk to these animals.
Oh, Chestnut's here.
That was quick as hell.
Gotcha.
Hey, what's going on? This is Larry from That One Piece Talk. Who are you and how are you?
It's Aaron Tate, fellas. How's it going?
Hey,
what's up, Aaron?
First call. It's been a while, man.
Yeah, you yelled at him last time.
I did.
I didn't want Steph to yell at me at the next DDT. So I had to call him.
What's up, bro?
Nothing much, man. Got a pretty simple question. My question today is, do you guys think that it's weird that Mihawk didn't question Zoro about having a black blade whenever he was training him? And then if so, do you think that Oda missed the opportunity to not only confirm how Mihawk blackened his blade, or if he did or not, but then also have Mihawk explain how to blacken his blade?
I have a troll answer to this.
So to answer it, I'd say I don't think we can say it's a missed opportunity until we see Zoro and Mihawk interact again. Because or like whether how I say this, like Oda could just be giving us that later, you know what I mean? Like he could just be giving us the Black Blade stuff at a later date, and he just didn't want to do it early. So like I don't know if I can call that like a missed opportunity per se until like I see the full Zoro Mihawk storyline play out. But so to me, it's like, do you really need the explanation? Like, do I need that from Mihawk and Zoro? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, oh snap, your blade is black. Like, and then exposition on like what it takes to obtain that. When I know Zoro's not gonna obtain that for another like 700 chapters. So like, I don't know. I don't know if it's a missed opportunity per se. There was another part of the question I just forgot.
Yeah,
in my rant.
It's okay.
What do you think is weird that he didn't at least acknowledge, like, yo, you got a black blade? Like, how is that? You know what I mean? Considering that
the other part,
he's teaching Zoro.
Yeah, the other part was there's probably way more black blades than you think, and like I don't think it's as uncommon as like we think it is because we just don't see people with black blades like that. But I could be tripping. I could be totally wrong on that. You know what I mean? Because we have only seen so few. But like I don't know that it's so rare that like Mihawk be like, oh my god, you have a black blade. Like how'd you do? Like you know? I don't know.
Well, how would it not be rare if like there's only like 12 great blades and then 24? Like there's only so few of blades that are in the tier below, you know, a black blade.
Right,
you would think that a black would be that rare, right?
So what I'm saying is like if I'm Mihawk, right, and I fought dudes with black blades before, like this kid having a black blade isn't like some crazy thing to me. Like I've seen black blades. I have one. Like you know what I mean? Like it's not a major thing to me.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Mihawk knew it wasn't Zoro's. Because if you want to go back to when they first fought, right? Mihawk's I think destroyed Zoro's other two swords. The only one that remained was the white one. So eventually Zoro had to get new swords. So if Mihawk saw him again, remembering that he destroyed his other 2 swords, the one that remained is not blackened, but one of his 2 new ones are. So it's like, all right, you obviously didn't blacken that blade. You acquired it already blackened. And so Mihawk probably not questioning it. To me, I never thought of that. That's actually a good question. It didn't hit me till now. Yeah, why never you question it? But the only thing I could think of is that he knew for a fact, all right, I know he didn't do this, but he could question, like, where'd you get that sword from? That would be the question, because I know you didn't do that. Because also, too, we found out through Wano, well, I believed, all right, that Zoro didn't know that you could permanently blacken a blade. You know? So Mihawk didn't really share that information. He knew that he could blacken a blade through, like, Haki hardening, but permanently blacken a blade, and the reason why we know that is because when he was fighting that fox that turned into, like, that giant human-looking person, he was explaining the history of Ryuma, who blackened his blade. And he told Zoro that Ryuma forged his blade black. And then Zoro questions, he's like, what? That was interesting to him. And he says, you mean to tell me this black color to this blade is not its original color? So that's where Zoro kind of finds out that you could permanently blacken a blade through your Haki, through forging it black. You know, so Mihawk, for some reason, didn't share that with him. And I believe that Mihawk forged his own blade black. Or some people may believe that Mihawk acquired it. No, I believe he forged it because Mihawk knew about it. And I believe he knew that Zoro wasn't at the level yet, especially pre-time skip, to forge a blade black, so he knew it wasn't his. And why he didn't question him about it, we didn't get much of what Zoro and Mihawk talked about or their dealings with each other. Like, for example, we saw a little bit of Sanji's training, we saw a little of Luffy's, we kind of got almost nothing, except he fought those monkeys to, like, Zoro's training. That's, like, the extent we got. Hopefully Oda reveals it, maybe a little more, but we got a little hint more during Dressrosa when he talked about it. When Mihawk talked about, like, black blades cannot be even scratched or cannot break, right? But then I think Zoro broke Pika's blade. So to me, what I believe that what Mihawk was talking about, black blades can't be broken, was forged black blades, not Haki hardened blades, because we even saw again in Dressrosa. A Haki blade. It wasn't Haki hardened, but it broke to, like, even a strong body. So that even shows that Haki itself, if it's not stronger than a certain force, even though that force is not Haki, can still be broken. So that's why if you forge it black, it's what Mihawk said, could be unbreakable. But Zoro didn't really grasp that knowledge yet until Wano. So I don't think Mihawk touched about it for whatever reason. Zoro didn't know that. So that's why I don't think he questioned Zoro, like, where'd you get that? Because he knew it wasn't his. And he knew nothing about it.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm wondering what Larry's troll take is.
Yo, bro. The real answer is he a fraud.
Oh, my God.
That's it.
Oh, my God, bro.
Like at the end of the day, we truly got to say to ourselves, we don't know if he turned his blade black. So we might not even know if he knows how to turn a blade black.
Yo, chill out, bro.
Like everybody always want to stunt and be like, yo, these swordsmen go mad hard. Yo, what swordsmen in the world right now go mad hard besides the 2 that we know?
What do you mean?
Shanks and Mihawk. We could consider Shanks one. But, like, Zoro too. Like, who else, bro?
Odin.
Who else? Yeah, he died. That was 20 years ago. Who else, bro?
Vista cool?
Yo, who was the previous title holder?
Probably Rayleigh.
We don't know, bro.
Probably
You know what
Rayleigh.
I'm saying?
You know, Rayleigh's blade ain't black, so probably not.
There's only 2 blades that are black.
Yeah.
That we've seen. And Mihawk, who's supposed to be this all-god swordsman, was just like, yo, the blade black. Yo, cool. He didn't even mention it.
Yo, but him not thinking it's a big deal could also just highlight that like, I'm him, bro. Like, black blade, that doesn't mean anything to me.
I guess. Or I don't know how to turn a blade black.
my
I just
God.
acquired this sword from somebody else.
He could
the
also-
same way Shisui was just found in some store.
But also, too, remember,
Shishu was not found in the
Mihawk
story.
didn't fully view himself as Zoro's master or teacher.
Don't matter.
Even though he jokingly said, call me master. But, like, for example, if Rayleigh left Luffy, all right, the rest you kind of got to, like, figure out for yourself. Mihawk could have did the same thing to Zoro. It was like, this, for you forging a blade black, you got to figure that on your own.
Or,
You know what?
or, hear me out, or black blades really ain't that special.
Nah. It's an achievement
You
to the
think
sword.
so?
You know what? I'm
not.
gonna take back what I said earlier. You right. It is a missed opportunity because we could have gotten more lore. We could have ended
Thank you.
Larry's troll ass takes right now about black blades. So because I had to listen to that, it was a missed opportunity.
Listen, bro. Wano was poorly written. I always say this. It's there. Most of all, we know a sword that goes harder than a black sword, right? Like we have Shisui. It's blackened. But you know what sword goes harder? Enma. And it's a lower grade. Are black blades really that special? That's what we need to start saying as a community.
Whoa,
together.
Hold on.
We need to start questioning why Oda be lying all the time.
Wait, hold on though. Shisui's an older sword.
I don't care.
Enma's a newer sword, so it's younger, right? And only been held by one user.
Damn, yo, hypothetically, you make sense.
No, but Enma's only been held by one user, right? And that person died pretty young. So he hadn't time to forge it, and it takes a while to forge it. Ryuma had, who knows how long until he had that blade, and it's a way older sword. So I'm saying is like, it takes time for you to conquer that sword or to forge it. That's what they were trying to, especially the stronger the sword is.
You know what has wills inside them? Devil fruits. You know what devil fruit wasn't eaten apparently for 800 years? The Gomu Gomu no Mi. You know what it's still doing? Acting wild. So we saying Ryuma and blades that basically have the same substance as a devil fruit getting passed down for 800 years doesn't hold that same strength?
No, what I'm trying to say,
black blades don't go as hard as devil fruits too?
Well,
damn, that's crazy.
One, I'm not saying you pick up, for example, the user who like almost forged a blade black, right? And someone else picks up, you're not feeding off the old user.
Why not?
You got to start from scratch.
Yo, why not, bro?
We see that with Enma, with Zoro. Like, you have to pretty much, for Enma, Zoro in a way, right, he was testing Zoro and recognized that you could wield him.
Listen, that's
but when Zoro started lacking, he was like, yo.
Listen, that's the same explanation to Devil Fruit's awakening.
No. You're not feeding off another person's, like, they almost awakened.
Are they not?
No, they're not.
Why not?
If a new user...
Luffy wouldn't be able to use his Devil Fruit if he wasn't mind and body caught up to be able to awaken it.
Yeah, but
that's the same thing as Enma with Zoro. He didn't have the efficient Haki, which he needed to have in order to do what Enma does.
Yeah. What I'm saying is like, but that's Luffy himself. He's not feeding off his predecessor who had the ability before him. That's what I'm saying.
All you saying is that black blades don't go as hard. Now, Aaron Tate, you go, bro.
So I do think it's a little weird and sort of like a missed opportunity that, you know, Mihawk didn't even at least acknowledge the fact that Zoro had a black blade. Like, in what Law said made sense. Like, the fact that he probably knew that it wasn't Zoro who made the blade black. He probably acquired it somewhere else, which should have further piqued his interest or his concern. Like, you know, it's funny that you got a black blade when I know that you don't even know how to use Haki yet, and I know you're nowhere near the level, you know, to be able to blacken the blade. And it's not as if Oda had to go into full explanation on how to blacken the blade, because you know when they did show the flashback in Dressrosa, and flashback in Dressrosa, and it was just showing how Mihawk was just telling Zoro, hey, you know, it's a crime for a swordsman to nick his blade. Like, the best thing to do is to coat your arm. I thought he was teaching Zoro how to coat his blade in Haki to avoid nicking it. And so I'm saying, I'm of the belief that Zoro could have simply asked Mihawk, like, okay, well, your blade is always black, so how did that happen? And Mihawk could have simply said, well, you're not ready for that yet. Time will come where you'll be able to blacken your own blade, and left it at that, and then saved the explanation for later on. But the fact that we got nothing from Mihawk, and a part of me thinks that Oda is trolling because I think he's tapped into the community knowing that there's a war between who's stronger, Shanks or Mihawk, and so he purposely withheld the fact of whether or not Mihawk blackened his own blade, because he either knows that if he did blacken his blade, then that gives him a notch above Shanks, and if he didn't, that gives Shanks fans a notch above Mihawk fans. And so part of me feels like he's just trolling in that aspect, but I do think it is a missed opportunity. He could have said something, and I don't think black blades are that common for Mihawk to just brush it off like that. Like, we've only seen 2 black blades in the entire series, and one was from 800 years ago. So I don't think it's that common for Mihawk to just not to see a black blade and not think twice about it. That's just me, though.
Listen, then we saying Oda trolling us when like Mihawk sent his sword slash out of Yonko in order to compare his strength in comparison to his. We saying that Oda trolling when like he swung 12 times at Luffy and only hit him once. We trolling when he couldn't get past Vista.
But
you gotta
Yo, we
stop
trolling,
that.
bro.
You gotta stop
We
that
trolling,
Mihawk
bro.
slander, You gotta stop.
I saw
gotta
Mihawk.
stop, bro.
I saw Mihawk with a black blade on.
stop.
He put all 4 limbs on the hilt of the blade in order to stab Luffy. But again.
Bro.
But again, he trolling. Yo,
Bro.
you know what I'm saying,
You
bro?
gotta
It's
stop,
too
bro.
much
You gotta
inconsistency,
stop,
man.
bro.
Listen,
bro.
bro.
You gotta
You
stop.
let me know who the previous title
Nah.
holder was and where he got the blade from.
Bro.
I want to know.
Bro.
Alright?
We haven't
It's
seen.
a missed opportunity, though.
No, I will admit that.
It's a missed
It is a
opportunity.
missed opportunity. He could have done that. But that's why I'm saying that we haven't really seen much from that 2 years with Zoro and Mihawk. We haven't seen much. But also, too, like, no Shinji Bukai were really stunted at all.
Doflamingo did.
Yeah, but compare
None
that
of them
to
were trying,
compare
bro.
exactly. Compared to even though Doflamingo, yeah, he probably looked the best out of all them besides Bo Hancock, right? But look at what we saw pre-time skip compared to Doflamingo then. There was a grave difference.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. Is like with Mihawk, right?
You're right. He went under buggy.
Yo,
You know what I'm
Mihawk
saying?
trolling.
You know what I'm
There you
saying?
go.
Everybody see it, man, but they all want to make sense of it.
See,
You gotta stop
but this
the
is where
trolling,
like
bro.
he went under Buggy, or is he using Buggy so he doesn't want to be bothered by the Marines?
Shit,
That-
Shanks wouldn't have done it.
He wouldn't have. No, but we're good. Shanks,
Real
right?
G's move in silence
But
like
look-
lasagna, dog. Alright? Don't get it twisted,
I'm
bro.
not gonna front. In my head, I was like, what if Miko was like, oh snap, this dude found a black blade just like I did. I like picturing Mihawk thinking it. Like,
But hold on.
oh, snap.
but Mihawk also, because Mihawk would have got top billing if he wanted to, but he said he has no desire of becoming Yonko.
Damn.
And this
That sounds like a lack of will to me.
I'm not gonna knock you there. I mean,
no, it's not. To
but
be a
also-
Yonko, bro, it's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
Zoro doesn't want to be a Yonko
He
one
could
day.
be-
Whitebeard didn't want to become Pirate King.
Listen, bro. His ambition was still larger than Mihawk's. Because he would have never
yeah.
went under Buggy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
Yo, but he never like agreed to work under Buggy though.
Yo, real talk.
Like, you know
Yo,
what I mean? Like, that's not
you
what
know what I'm
happened.
starting to notice? Aaron Tate, you can agree with me or not. Mihawk is like the Shiki of our generation, bro.
Nah.
Not as kid, bro.
Yo, he never wanted to be Yonko the same way like Shiki was like, yo.
Shiki was more ambitious.
Nah,
Why-
Shiki
was
wanted the
way
role.
more ambitious.
He wanted
He was
the
trying to
role.
take
You know
over the
what?
world.
Let me not disrespect
Yeah,
Shiki.
yeah.
Shiki is that boy.
Shiki wanted the
Top
role.
G.
Listen, Mihawk is just
He's
he's
looking,
in his lane, bro. He
Yeah.
advocates in his own lane,
Yeah.
and like he basically not even a pirate, but
Yeah.
he's labeled as such because he's not paying taxes.
Dude, he's a
So
swordsman.
it's
He's
like-
barely a pirate. He's more of a swordsman than a pirate. That's what it is.
He got no ship.
Yeah,
he got
yeah.
no crew.
No, yeah, he's a
It's
swordsman.
not, there's not many people out there that, you know, are
Yeah.
swordsmen. So, yeah.
But thanks for the call, Aaron. Seriously, man, we miss hearing from you
Yeah,
on a
man.
Monday. All right.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Thank you.
I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna start calling you.
Hey, definitely.
Yeah, missed you, Aaron. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
All right, Marv, we have
Thanks
a
a
couple
lot, guys.
super chats I want to hit before we get to calls again.
Yeah, yo, also, everybody, we're doing game night tonight at 9:30. I'll be hosting it. So, just FYI, if you guys want to play,
Pull up.
we're going to play Among Us.
Yeah, we got a $2 super chat from Strahd. It says, Black what? Because we started the Black Blade conversation.
was that the first snowman was black.
Black
Oh,
snow.
man. We got a $50 super chat from our guy Fourth Face. It says, been MIA and catching up on a bunch of previous episodes on Spotify. Hey, but y'all the goats, no doubt. Hashtag Stussy Gang. Hashtag Don Quixote Lawrence.
Thank you, Fourth
Thank
Face,
you,
for the
man.
50. Also, thank you, Strahd.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the Spotify listeners. Seriously, we appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
We got a $5 super chat from James Hudson. It says, hashtag Larry has bad takes. Can't stay long. Just had to speak my piece to support the channel. Love y'all. Thank you, Pig.
Have fun.
We got a $2 super chat from General of 30th. It says, I don't know who Shanks beat to become a Yonko. He's a fraud. Oh, we on Shanks fraud watch now.
So we got Mihawk and Shanks fraud.
That's
Okay.
crazy, yo.
Rival frauds?
No respect for the generation.
No respect.
It's crazy how Blackbeard beat Marco, and he had to jump him with his whole crew. But yeah, sure, keep going with
But
that.
he's not the fraud. Okay.
Yeah, but he's not the fraud. Somehow he's not.
I have no comment. We got a $5 super chat from our guy Celestial Donkey. Y'all know what it says. Hashtag Buggy Gang.
Thank you, CD. Thank you.
And we got another $2 from Strahd. It says hashtag Bang Bang. Buggy Gang. It doesn't say Buggy Gang.
It doesn't say Buggy
but
Gang.
Yeah, I
Thank
knew
you.
it was coming, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. We got a 2-month membership to Yonko status from Shandi Wandi.
Thank you, Shandi.
Thank you so much. Enjoy all the extra emotes that you get with Yonko status. And he says, Mihawk's biggest fraud. Hashtag Larry's best takes. Hey, man. We got another 7-month membership to Nakama from Party Pete. Thank you so much, Party
Thank you,
Pete.
Pete.
Thank you.
Pete says, hashtag Lucci Larry. We didn't forget.
my
No, we didn't. If y'all want to see Larry dress up as Lucci,
It's terrible.
just
keep
donate.
Going. Keep
and
going. Keep going. Keep going.
Lucci
Keep going.
Larry.
I wonder how he's gonna get the the little, the goatee.
He already got it, low key, bro.
Yeah, just go, bro.
We got another $5 from Luffy needs to try some booty meat. It says the same way people carries their will into the devil fruit after death, it's probably the same way with legendary swords, like how Enma carries Odin's will.
Yeah. That was,
Yeah, I can see that.
we talked
Yeah, we
about that
talked about that in the past.
bunch of times, yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, the Luffy needs to try some booty meat. Doesn't that remind you of Norbit? Who was he in the turkey? Remember?
It reminds me of Ace Bait every time I hear it. We got a $5 super chat from Baby Pluton. It says, hashtag Lucci Larry agenda is something I can get back with gusto. Oh, man. And I think that... Oh, we got one more from Big Pier. It's $2. It says, Larry's starting to have good takes. Hashtag Buggy Gang. I love that they
I gotta announce that I'm trolling.
put them together.
I gotta. That's what I'm starting to notice.
Yo, listen, man.
Because they just think I'm serious all the time. All right, Marv, throw the number back up, please. Thank you,
He-Man's in the
guys.
chat. Hey, He-Man.
Hello.
Yes, remember, guys, we're doing Among Us at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, and I will be hosting. So call in.
Call now. Oh, wow. Gotcha.
Hey, what's going on? This is Larry from That One Piece Talk. Who are you and how are you?
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Nerd Taku.
Hey,
back to back,
We
okay.
back to the original
Yeah,
rotation now.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Original rotation. What's up, Taku?
What's going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. I figured I'd call in. I heard Tate, and I was like, well, I maybe should just jump in on this.
Speak to me, man. What's up?
So I just had a simple question. So out of all the Straw Hats and, like, the backstories that we've seen, who do you want to see, like, maybe a better backstory from, or maybe more involved backstory from? Like, we haven't gotten really anything for some of the Straw Hats, and then we've gotten a lot for some of the other ones. So I was just wondering, who do you think needs more elaboration on where they came from?
I have my answer. I don't know if you guys have yours already.
I do. You know Lawrence doesn't, so.
No, I do. I have a few.
All right, so my answer is Zoro. Straight up. And we talked about missed opportunities. I think Wano was a missed opportunity to get some Zoro backstory. Because as we know, he just out of nowhere just has this goal to be the world's strongest swordsman. Like,
It wasn't out of nowhere.
yo, he had it before he met Kuina.
Yeah, he did.
You know what I mean? Like, it was already there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was
like-
already, the strongest in his village. He was going around trying to find strong people to fight.
To me, it's Zoro. It's like there is an avenue. Like, there's something you could gain from going deeper. And I've argued the opposite on the past. Like, I don't need additional backstory for Zoro, but Oda teed up more. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we never got he seems like he's a Shimotsuki, and he's probably a descendant of Ryuma, and like, if all that didn't happen, I'm like, oh, no, I'm good with Zoro where he's at. Like, I'm fine with it. But we got more.
Yeah.
We just didn't elaborate on it. So because Wano opened up that like floodgate of like, yo, we're getting Zoro lore, and just didn't do it, it's like, it's Zoro's for me. It's always gonna be Zoro. Like, I'm always gonna be like, yo, I wonder what the hell is going on with that. Why did that happen? So for me, it's Zoro. I don't know about y'all, but
No, Zoro's definitely one we need. And besides Zoro, because that was on my list. But honestly, it's gonna. To me, we all notice and we're gonna get it. But it's like Luffy the D, but also where it comes from, because many people believe that Dragon might be Rox's son. You know, so it's like Luffy's one, but also Brook. I'm curious because he was part of. He was like a kingdom. He's part of a kingdom. He was like a general or an officer, something like that in a kingdom. And around his time, Roger was a rookie. You know. So where he came from, why he joined the kingdom military, even though a lot of pirates tend to do that. They kind of start off as the military in the kingdom first. Like we can name a few that done that, but like Luffy and Brook are also backstories I'll be interested to learn about. Like Brook, what lets you become a pirate, and your time back then, because Roger was a rookie. Because also too, besides from like, because Roger started the pirate era, I would like to know more about that era, because me and Lana were talking about it too. Who were the pirates besides like, because right now before that we get like Rox and Roger, but before that, were there no really big name pirates before then? You know, like when did they start to come? Like, because Roger started the Great Pirate era. So what was the era before that? How did that look like? Was it dominantly world government and kingdoms that were doing stuff, and you had some low-key pirates in the works, and then boom, Rox and Raja came out of nowhere to be strong as heck? Like, how did this happen? So that's what, and then also Luffy's mother, like the whole D family, and especially Luffy's family would be interesting. Those are mine. So I definitely hear it in Brook, because Luffy's like he's the main character, but beside, like you mentioned, Zoro. Brook to me is interesting.
Bro, you just want more lore.
Yeah,
those aren't the necessary.
Revealed, though.
Yeah, but those aren't the necessary like Straw Hat like back stories, bro. It's just lore you want.
True.
But I'm like Brook though.
No,
like,
you just said
but
you used Brook
didn't say it
as a conduit to like everything else that's
it's like,
during that era.
Brook was alive during this time. That's mad interesting. I just want to see what the time was like, and like you could just use.
You
Brook
ain't
to
even
do
talk
it.
about Brook for like 20 seconds.
I said I
you
want to
said-
see what made him become a pirate.
Yo, you said he in that kingdom and pirate, yeah, but yo, Roger was alive.
Yo, you know what makes Brook that guy? You
gotta put it together.
You know what Brook would make that guy? You didn't even say Laboon. Like what? That's his whole backstory.
Yeah, no, I know that. What I'm saying is right. Is the reason why I go. This was you got to put it together, because during that time
bro.
where
just say you want lore, bro.
No,
it's so easy.
Because isn't it interesting that Brook was serving as a kingdom right before the Great Pirate era, but then before Roger became a pirate, Brook decided to leave the kingdom, become a pirate.
But why do people become pirates, Lawrence? Because usually kingdoms be trash and they have to deal with gold.
But usually it's because they want to go after the One Piece. But the One Piece didn't exist. What compelled Brook to do it?
Hold on. People were pirates before the One Piece was a thing.
I know, but it was just a
Big Mom
surge.
became a pirate. Whitebeard was a pirate. Rock was a
I
pirate.
know
Like
that.
all these people were still pirates before the one. Like Nolan was basically a pirate. They all were traveling and doing their own thing.
He was an adventurer.
Bro, Clover.
He worked for the government.
Even like all these people sailed flags with Jolly Rogers and left arm.
Those are not pirates.
Just say you want lore, bro.
It's not.
It's easy, bro.
Larry, what's your answer, bro?
Yo, honestly, I was gonna say Zoro because obviously how badly Wano was written, but I think for me it's Nami. I think Nami's a missed opportunity that we didn't have, that we should get, especially with her kingdom being Tokyo backwards. I felt like there could have been some significant things that could have been shown in that arc. I don't know exactly what, but it would make her more interesting, and I would have loved if Sanji's backstory was cut in half to fit some of her story into it, because she ended up being a major role player versus Big Mom and Ulti to a degree. So just to add some significance, and even Big Mom, she was sailing the seas at a young age. Yo, she probably could have destroyed Nami's town at some point or something like that. Like it could have been tied in a little bit better and just cut down the Sanji stuff. So, and Nami's really cool because she's like the main three people on the Straw Hat ship, right? Like it's Zoro, Nami, and
she's one of the original.
Yeah, so I think she deserved more spotlight in comparison to somebody that got all the spotlight.
That's fair.
Yeah, but how about you, Nurtaku?
So I actually agree with you, Larry. I think that Nami's missed backstory, like as far as like her being from like a war-torn area that Bellamere had to save her from, I think it'd be interesting to find out where she actually came from. But another one that I actually wanted to know about is Robin. And like we have her on Ohara, but we don't really know her lineage. Like we don't know who her dad is. And like shout out to Tachi and Ragnar, because when I was on their creator Kumite, they were talking about how they think that Dragon might be actually her dad, and then her and Luffy were like half brother, half sister. And I thought that'd be interesting, but I feel like there's probably something better that they could write in, because I don't know. I don't really need them to be that related. I'd rather them be a bunch of people that don't have that much in common that come together and form like the family that you choose instead of actually being family.
Right.
But I think Robin's backstory would be interesting because like Olivier literally was going around the world, and from what we know, we don't know what she was doing. Was she pirating? Was she like Robin? Was she drifting from crew to crew just to get more information on poneglyphs similar to her? Like I kind of want to know that type of stuff and maybe where Robin's dad comes from. But other than that, I actually really want to know like Frankie, because he was an orphan as well that was taken in by Tom. So I would have liked to see something more on Frankie, and we might get that with Egghead being like kind of a Frankie robotic centered arc. And I just hope that we get something like that because I feel like Frankie's in dire need of it. But definitely the girls and Frankie are my top three.
Yeah.
Frankie's interesting because he was abandoned by pirates. So who were his parents?
It's really about his parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so
And most likely his dad, because moms don't get shot out like that.
right. Except for in Nami's case, because it wasn't her actual mom, but Belmont.
Yeah.
I think
But,
she
like,
just died though.
In general, like, I just don't know that we need backstories for these characters. In my opinion, like, it would be cool to get them, but like, how is developing whatever happened to Frankie going to change how you view Frankie? Like, there was a lot to unpack with Sanji and why he acted the way that he acted or whatever, right?
I guess.
Could it have been cut? Sure. Absolutely. But like, or pieces of it cut? Yeah. But like, he has a distinct way of like acting or conducting himself and like codes and all that crap. And it's like, we never truly got why he did that. With Frankie and Nami and stuff, it's like, how would additional backstories play into their character?
Well, it depends on
have.
the arc's focus.
Yeah. I mean, but do we have time for that?
We ain't have time for Sanji.
Apparently we did.
No, we didn't.
Apparently we
No,
did.
we didn't, because
Apparently we did.
Zoro on Zo said, I'm going to round up all the samurai, and what happened? Didn't. Shimotsuki never revealed. Like, we had so much more that we could have done with the Wano story, but instead we wasted it on this guy who couldn't believe in his own captain for post-time skip half the time. So I don't care about that part. Give me the real stuff from the three main people on the Straw Hats. Nami needed that shine. Zoro needed that shine. Frankie, he can be told through Egghead to some degree. That could work, but I don't expect a big backstory. Like, you can give me like 6 panels and I'll be all right with it. That's cool.
You still get more than Kaido.
Yeah, word.
Oh my God.
I thought Kaido was about to be it.
Listen,
Yeah.
I didn't say it.
Listen,
I didn't say it.
Nah,
But-
Kaido's backstory is bottom 5, and it's
But
not.
I
it's not
think that we'll get more Zoro. I think that Wano isn't over necessarily. I think that there's a reason we're gonna have to revisit Wano in a way. And I think that's when we'll get that information. And I think specifically it might be the Straw Hats actually having to separate to go to different places. And I definitely think that Zoro's going back to Wano. And I think Chopper would too, to be honest, to take the technology that they'll probably get from Dr. Vegapunk about devil fruits and be able to finally cure the smile fruit users in a way, because I feel like it's more of a devil fruit thing than it is more or less a disease, and I feel like that's more up Vegapunk's alley. And I believe that we do need to see like just a small, like I don't even need a lot, just because to me Zoro has always been more or less about like hard work and like determination more than he has been about like, oh, this guy used to be, part of this clan who was amazing. Like I kind of like that he's like ridiculously training all the time, and I don't need him to have like this crazy lineage, but just like a nod to it, or maybe just a little bit more, like, oh yeah, you are a descendant of these guys, they were pretty great in Wano, but it doesn't have to be anything that's like, you're the next sword god reincarnate and you were made to fulfill the prophecy of like You know, I don't need any of that stuff. But as far as Frankie goes, I would just like to see if he was maybe like the result of a scientific experiment by Mads or something like that, or maybe if he, you know, had some sort of disposition to be more intelligent than others when it comes to like mechanical work or something like that. I just want to see something like that. Like, it'd be interesting if it was like a mad science, like one of the Mads, and they were experimenting on, you know, cloning in a failed way, and that's how we got Frankie. But he turns out like he just has like intelligence of a certain caliber or something like that. I just want to know maybe just a little bit more, just because of him being an orphan.
Yeah,
That's fair.
that is fair.
Mm-hmm.
But Taku, thank you for the call, man. Really interesting question.
Yeah, I figured I'd stop by. I saw Tate do it.
Oh, when are you going live with Larry? For
Tomorrow at 5 if he's around. If not, we can flex it a little bit. But I have Chestnut working on the thumbnail because she's awesome, and so we can get the theory no me out, and we can start flexing those muscles that Larry all of a sudden unlocked somewhere.
I've always had them.
yeah,
I just never cared enough.
yeah, yeah, it's true.
too
Well,
much
I'm
work.
glad you started caring because you have some great theories.
Oh man, appreciate the call, Taku.
Yeah, appreciate you, Taku.
Yeah, man. Good
See
to hear
you-
from you.
See you later,
Yeah,
bro.
of course. Thanks. Have a good one.
Yeah, you
Jana.
too. Jana.
Bye.
All right. We did get a $5 super chat from Luffy needs to try some booty meat. It says, if Oda doesn't give us a Kuma backstory in the next chapter, then he's pretty much blue balling us at this point. Hashtag Larry for Lucci. I don't know about next chapter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I believe we're gonna get
Next
it,
chapter
but I don't know
is
about next chapter too. Yeah.
soon.
But I
Yeah.
can see where he would put in next chapter, but there's a
think
lot
he
going
would-
on.
I don't
so
think he would fail
yeah.
us.
yeah. We got another $2 super chat from Dan the Man. It says, will there be another time skip or just power-ups?
Both. Time skip will come after a certain point, I think.
Yeah, I think if there is a time skip, it will come like through a training. You know what I mean?
Nah. I think it's gonna be power ups, and then we'll find the One Piece, and then maybe time skip.
So
We're gonna
time
see.
skip
We're
after
gonna
the
see
One Piece.
Luffy at like 40, bro.
That'd be
You
pretty
think?
dope.
Yeah. And then we're
So
not
you
gonna
think
see
like
anything
like
after.
the story completes and then we time jump forward to what they're like? I can see that too. I just don't think we get a training arc again.
No, there's
So
no
it's
training
like
arc.
if
They're just
there
gonna
would be
get.
one.
Listen, Luffy got 4 power ups in one arc. He's good. He's gonna be powering up many times.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
All right. Thank you guys for the super chats. Marv, number again.
Oh, that reminds me. Hidden has a dope theory on that. Like 1 year on Elbaf. Training arc thing.
Yeah,
Where it's both. Yeah.
it'll be alright.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
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 I think he's going live with Morse today.
Yeah, 7:30.
So
Yeah, it's gonna be alright.
gotcha.
Hey, what's going on? This is Larry from That One Piece Talk. Who are you and how are you?
Hey, what's good, guys?
Hello. What
You
up?
can call me UNV. But I'm pretty good. How are you guys?
I'm
Nah.
good, man. Again, my Giants won yesterday. I'm in a great mood. You feel me?
Hey, before I get started, I want to say that One Piece Talk is a top 2 podcast, but it's not number 2. You feel me?
Hey,
Appreciate it.
Thank you,
appreciate
buddy.
it.
Much
Thank
love.
you.
Of course. And so to start what I'm about to say, when the Law versus Blackbeard spoilers came out, right? I remember they were emphasizing the way Law broke out of Doc Q's his thickness, right? And it was basically saying Law admits a white Haki. And of course that didn't happen in a chapter. So my question is, do you guys think that having conquerors is the only way to get to the very top? Like, for example, I'm positive Garp is a conqueror Haki user. But if not, do you think he has this certain type of Haki that is so strong that allowed him to get to the top? Like, you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay. But do you think, like I said, do you think only like the top like conquerors is the only way to get to top?
So it's something we talked about on the pod before, where we said like people like Garp are the exception to the rule if he doesn't turn out to be a conqueror. Because we all were like, we assume Garp has it, but if he didn't, he's just that one guy who's an exception to the rule. So it's like, I don't know if that's an additional level of Haki that he has to reach that other people just aren't, or he's just a freak of nature. Like say Big Mom didn't have Conqueror's Haki, but she could do everything else that she could do. She's at the top still, no? Like, she's still a Yonko. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't such a big part of her arsenal that made her who she was, or made her get to that level. It was her Devil Fruit, her Hawk's, like, physical strength and everything. Like, you can get to the top. You just probably can't get to the tippy top, you know? Like, you can't beat Roger. Yeah. You can't beat Whitebeard, but you can fight those guys, you know? Like, you're still at the top of the game. You're just not winning those fights, if that makes sense. I mean, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe you just can't truly compete without Conqueror's Haki, but like Garp seemed to be competing at that level. And if he doesn't have it, then like he is that one exception to the rule. So
yeah, I believe your Haki has to be exceptional, like extremely exceptional to try to compete with them. And that's why I believe, because we got no clear evidence that Garp is a Conqueror's user, but his Haki is exceptional. Because like I said before, like there's levels to Haki and you can strengthen it. Like you could strengthen. To me, I call it clear Haki. The first stage of Haki is when there's no color to it. It's just like invisible, an invisible force. I call that clear Haki. You could train that to be really, really strong. Like for example, I think Cracker's clear Haki was stronger than Luffy's Haki hardening. So you could increase that level, and then you can increase your Haki hardening to an even higher level, and then there's advanced, what I call Rio, is like next stage, stuff like that. So you could increase those to be ridiculously like outmatched to try to battle with the ones who are using Haki hardening with Rio and Conquerors into that. Because it mainly comes down to like whose will is stronger. And you can kind of argue, all right, if you have, for example, if you're a Conqueror, your will is automatically stronger than someone who does it. But then you have, for example, 𝙁𝙁 versus Garp. One was a Conqueror's user, proven, and one is not. So let's go with the whole Garp is not a Conqueror's user, and 𝙁𝙁 is. Right. Who won that fight? Garp. So it's like Garp has proven that he could fight Conqueror's users and even beat them because he stopped 𝙁𝙁 in his prime and took away besides his Conquerors, his strongest physical weapon, So Garp proved right there that he can fight at that level and even beat Conqueror's users. It all comes down to whose will is stronger, regardless if you're a Conqueror or not. You're kind of led to believe that if you're a Conqueror, your will is stronger, but also how you utilize your Haki in general. Because Garp trained to fight 𝙁𝙁 by punching away mountains. So he made his, for example, 𝙁𝙁 said his head, that diamond thing, was the hardest substance on Earth. That's what he claimed, right? Garp gave credit to that by punching away 8 mountains, trained to that, and made his Haki harden harder than that. So that's why he was able to pretty much hammer that nail in. So if you could train your Haki hardening or your Haki harder or stronger than others, then you should be able to win that fight. So Garp is an exception, and we could have other people who may meet that exception, but it's not going to be a lot. It's probably going to be like a handful.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, I think in order to reach the very best of the best, you need all of it. That's it. But there is something that happens with talented people. They sometimes plateau because of their talent, and they don't reach the heights that they would be able to. And somebody like that is like my favorite character. One of my favorite characters, Ace. Super talented, had all the tools, but couldn't reach that level. Whereas Blackbeard with the special Devil Fruit, he kind of outworked Ace to a degree. And I think that if you're being outworked, even though you have all these capabilities, you're not going to do anything with talent. And that happens a lot in like the UFC and like boxing too. Like you have people who are just super talented that usually fall short in comparison to other people who work their ass off. And that's what usually happens, right? But it comes a point where like people with talent work as hard as the people that work hard without talent. And then there's no way for those people to compete. And I think those people specifically, even though it's not confirmed that Rocks had Conqueror's Haki, there's no way that a person that doesn't have Conqueror's Haki would be able to contain Big Mom, Kaido, and Whitebeard and Shiki, and them have not bent the knee to him. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Garp, even though there is no clear evidence that he has Conqueror's Haki, I think that based upon who he is and what he means to the story, and how people like Sebastian could put Dragon in top 5 in the series without anything to back
Dragon
it up.
top 5.
Hey!
It would say enough that he's definitely a conqueror. I think it's like 90% there that he is. And this is the reason why he could compete with those people. Now, if you look at it from a general aspect where it goes into talented people and people who work hard, we would be like, okay, can Sanji beat Don Chinjao at Dressrosa Don Chinjao right now? And I would say most likely yes. Because his armament and his talent, I mean, not his talent, but his hard work has proven he could surmount talent overall. So that's kind of like my answer, but what's yours?
I wanted to say yeah because, Law is my favorite character in the series. I don't want to see him slack behind because he doesn't have conquerors, but I'm not going to be biased. I don't think so. It was just an interesting question I came up with.
Yeah, it was a good one. I think that if anybody that deserved it should have been Law, and it shouldn't have been Kid. Like it should have been reversed, where Kid didn't have the conquerors, but Law ended up having it. That's why Law was able to do such things in comparison to Kid in the Big Mom fight.
I disagree.
And this is why the community happens to be such an uproar about if Kid is really that great, or we just really had great expectations that just failed in comparison to what we were shown, where we wouldn't have that same talk with Law. And I feel like that's undeniable.
Amazing answers.
So, man,
That's undeniable.
I'm
bro.
not going to sit here and cape for Kid, but I think he's deserving of Conqueror's Haki. He's never backed down from any fight.
Captain Mid, bro.
Listen, he's never backed down from any fight. It's not about how strong you are. He's never backed down from any fight, any challenge. He's got washed by several Yonkos and their crews or whatever, and he's never given up, no matter what. Losing limbs, having his body control while he's fighting in the biggest moments of his life, fighting Kaido and Big Mom, the dude don't back down. So, granted, neither did Law, but Law's also still a thinker. When his crew might have got wiped by Kaido, Law was like, yo, we need to regroup and figure it out. Luffy said, F that, I'm pulling up.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
I mean,
That's
is it?
the difference.
Is it? Because
but that is the difference.
So,
Roger would have went and fought Kaido that day, right then and there,
okay,
regardless of what his situation was.
You know who's a thinker and has conquerors?
Who?
Sengoku. He's a master strategist.
I mean,
Yeah, to me, I wouldn't say just because Luffy did it, that makes him a
hold on though. We've never seen Sengoku in action like that for real.
Yo, but we've seen him strategize.
But Sebastian, to me, it wasn't due to Luffy's a conqueror. It's due to Luffy's emotions. Luffy's an emotional dude.
Listen, you don't need to be dumb in order to be a conqueror.
I didn't say you have to be dumb. I'm saying he's not backing down from that.
My
Law
bad.
was willing
My bad.
to hide
Not
from
dumb.
Kaido.
No,
you're
he
saying
wanted to find his
impulsive.
crew.
He was trying to hide. He was like, yo, let's regroup, let's hide out while Kaido's looking for us.
Or
Luffy
he's
said,
trying to,
nah,
he's trying
I'm
to,
not doing that.
he's trying to stick to his plan. Him going out to show Kaido where you were wasn't part of the plan, and that's why Luffy got
I'll
put.
acknowledge the Sengoku
It's so
point.
crazy that he says that about one character, but then Blackbeard's still on the table for conquerors.
Yo, because of his ambition.
Like, what?
Because of his ambition.
What are we talking about?
Blackbeard is willing to do anything for his ambition. Anything.
Okay.
Even betray people he loves. Anything for
Sounds
his
like
ambition.
Sebastian's being inconsistent, if you ask me. but-
Yo,
Sounds
listen.
a little biased.
Yeah,
which
it sounds
he
a little
is.
biased.
Which he is.
Listen, man.
Yeah, it's okay,
Listen,
Sebastian.
Listen, there's a difference between how Kid acts and how Law acts.
Yes.
Law is cooler. Law is doper. He's been through a lot. I'm just saying.
But you do
Kid
realize-
is headstrong in a similar fashion to several other conquerors in the series. While Law would have to be one of those Doflamingo type conquerors.
Sebastian, I'm telling you right now.
You know what I'm saying?
If you're not,
But
Zoro's a conqueror,
regardless,
but he's
still
not like them.
deserves conquerors.
I didn't say he doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying I see why he doesn't have it. He's not like that.
But no one. First of all, would Zoro do the same thing that Luffy did? No.
Probably.
No, he wouldn't.
Probably. If the crew just got wiped, and I seen it.
What? See, this is where you're wrong. Luffy had no idea if his crew got wiped or not.
Listen,
they
Kaido
had
pulled
no
up.
idea.
He knew the crew was there. Kaido pulled up and blew the mount up. That's what Luffy saw. He went, yo, I'm fighting this
I'm going to tell you right now, acting at an impulse is not conquerors. they're two different things. Luffy
was
always
about to
acts
say
at
that.
impulse.
I was about to
Listen,
say that.
Impulse is a human
Yo, but
emotion.
my point is
it's like a basic thing.
the
Luffy always acts on
way Oda writes most conquerors in the series, they tend to act on impulse. That's true. Roger was like
That's
that.
true.
Odin is
Yeah.
like that. Luffy is like that. Zoro is like that.
Nah,
Kid is
Zoro-
like that. Big Mom is like that. Kaido is like that.
Is Whitebeard like that?
No, but there are people who
Whitebeard,
aren't
Sengoku,
like that.
and Zoro.
Yeah. Listen.
Yo, throw Killer up there, bro.
No.
Because he basically has the same will
You
as
gotta conquer.
Kid. They
Listen.
do the same things, and he's more productive.
Listen. Give Law conquerors. I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying there is a way Oda writes conquerors, and Law not exactly like that.
Yeah. Listen, man, thank you for that question, bro. You really turned us up for a second.
Of course. Hey, you guys have a good day, man.
Yeah,
Hey,
you too,
thank you,
man.
you
Have a
too.
good night.
All right, easy.
All right, later. Yo, guys, remember, we're doing game night Among Us. I'll be hosting at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time tonight, just in case.
Larry, do you want to hit the sponsor now?
Oh, yeah, let's hit the sponsor, and then we'll go into the calls again. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Have you been struggling lately? Maybe you're having trouble sleeping, difficulty with a relationship, or just struggling from low self-esteem. Listen, I've been there. We've been there. If so, then today's BetterHelp wants to help you. BetterHelp offers licensed therapists who are trained to listen and help you. Talk to your therapist in a private, online environment at your own convenience. There is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 plus therapist network that gives you access to help that may not be available in your area. You just fill out a questionnaire, simple as that, to help assess your specific needs. And then you get matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Then you schedule a secure video and phone sessions. Plus, you can exchange unlimited messages and everything you share is completely confidential. I happened to sign up at one point regarding my confidence issues. Next thing you know, my confidence issues are not issues anymore. I'm doing pretty well in that area. You can request a new therapist at no additional charge anytime. Join the 2 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced BetterHelp therapist. Special offer goes out to all that One Piece Talk listeners. You get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/TOPT. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TOPT. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode.
Oh man, we back.
We back. Hello. All right, throw back up the number. Oh, it's already there.
That was quick. Gotcha.
Hey, what's going on? This is Larry from that One Piece Talk. Who are you and how are you?
Hi, this is S. Barnes.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey man, how y'all doing?
Good, man. How about you?
Pretty solid. All right, my question is, it's not like a big question. It's just, so comparing Doflamingo and Whitebeard for a second.
Random, but go on.
Okay.
All right, comparing Doflamingo and Whitebeard for a second. They were both have really big family dynamics to their crews. And I was thinking about this, and I was trying to figure out, who do you guys think was a better family man for their crews? Whitebeard or Doflamingo?
Yo, this is so funny because I made this comparison before on the Discord where somebody was ripping Dofi, and I was like, he's more like Whitebeard than you think. And I went through all the similarities about caring about their crews and being blonde and being conquerors and all types of stuff. It's Whitebeard is the correct answer. I want to troll and say Dofi.
For real? Okay.
It is because there's actions that he's taken where he put his family above himself.
Yeah.
Doflamingo has never, at any point in his entire history, with any family member, done that.
Wait a minute.
Just true.
He has, though. He only betrayed his crew when they betrayed him. He was down for Baby 5 until Baby 5 turned on him.
Hold on. When did Monet betray Doflamingo? Because he was 100% willing
Monet?
to yeah.
I don't remember when Monet... Did Monet betray Doflamingo?
No, but he was 100% willing to let her die for his ambition, just to not be inconvenienced. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, she wasn't as close though.
nah, listen, bro.
Nah, she wasn't close, bro.
My
She was
point
close.
my point is, there is no level of family member that Whitebeard has where he would be like, "Yo, can you just die for me real quick, so like I don't have to deal with this." That would never happen with anybody that's ever been close or considered family to Whitebeard. And he didn't just do it to he did it to Virgo too, who was his like longest running crewmate.
I have a rebuttal, but go ahead.
By all means, but like, yo, he was willing to let every single one of the people in his family die for his own personal gain. So yes, he does have an element of family. A family man. He did care about them. He never prioritized or cared about them beyond his own goals, ever, at any point. And that's what makes Dofi great, is that he's both of these people. It's like, oh, I care. I'm going to fight for you. I'll do everything. Don't mock them. Like, this is my only family. But, like, if it means I got to fight Kaido, y'all can all die. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's Dofi.
Okay.
That's not the case with Whitebeard. But if you have a rebuttal, by all means.
I do.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So this would be better said as a Doflamingo analysis on his character, but hear me out for a second. When we talk about Whitebeard, in comparison to Doflamingo, just regular power-wise as people, Whitebeard is a freak of nature. There's not many people that can compete with him and his strength. So when he's building this family, his family is able to be taken care of under his shadow to the point where they never really have to face such degrees of threats. Because they know if that happens, then Whitebeard's going to come after them, right?
They daddy coming, yeah.
Yeah, so there's really never a time where like something like that happens to his crew, where Doflamingo isn't as strong. He actually has to manipulate behind the scenes, which causes sometimes his family members being put into positions where they can be killed. So if we look at it in that aspect, we really know there's a power dynamic between both of them where they have to put themselves into harm's way more than another, right? Then we have the additional sacrifices of crew members on their ships where Whitebeard goes, hey, if any of you kill each other, just realize you're gonna have to deal with me. But what ended up happening? One crew member decided to kill another crew member, and he let that person go, which then caused the devastation of his crew being separated, but also another of his sons to die as well. So it's like Whitebeard has that stain on his record, but when we look at Doflamingo, we can say from an early childhood that Doflamingo as a kid kind of cared about family. But what made it realistic for him was that he only cared about family when it came to status. So if his status was somehow interrupted or given less of, he would get into this mode where he would have to reach higher to that status, right? So when he knew that Virgo was on Punk Hazard, and he knew that Monet was on Punk Hazard, and when they had to sacrifice themselves, what did Doflamingo immediately do?
He went there.
He went there.
Yeah.
Because to some degree, I'm pretty sure psychologically, when he lost Rosinante, when he had to kill his father, when his mother died, family became somewhat very important to him. That's why he built one afterwards. That's why Rosinante, he knew the whole time was betraying him, but when it finally came to the surface and it directly interfered with his status of being immortal, he was like, I have to kill my own brother now. So I don't think that they're comparable too much, but I think that if we're to say who's a bigger family man, it's not so far-fetched to say that Doflamingo might be the bigger one. Because if he had that degree, he would have just never went to Punk Hazard. He would have never put himself in harm's way to fight whatever was left over from that.
But Larry, I'm going to let you go because I have a rebuttal, but I'm going to let you go, Lars. I'm going to let you go.
Now, so they are both, in a way, family men in their own personality, their own way of it, right? But again, going with what Sebastian was saying is, but you check how also Doflamingo views his family, will treat his family, right? Because you want to think about one screams out Bellamy. Look at how Bellamy was treated.
That's not a family member.
No, but yeah,
he viewed him as outside the family.
Yeah, but this is someone who tried being part of your family. Mm-hmm. So, like, to me, it depends on how Doflamingo views you in a way. of how valuable or how an asset you are, right? Because dude, right before he told he went there, he did tell Monet, die for me, right? That's true. He said die for me first. Then when things are not working out, he will go there. So what I see is Doflamingo, he's a family man, but he's also a very business oriented man. That your family, and yes, it will hurt him doing it, but if you interfere with his goal, his business, I got to put you down. And because like you said, he did feel some type of way with Cold Zone because he got mad. He goes, you're making me do this to you. I have to pull the trigger on you, my own brother. Mm-hmm. He felt it, but he's still willing to do it. He will do it no matter what because you're interfering with his goal. So he's a family man, but it's like, so anyway, for example, his family is ornated around him. That he's the sole person, the number one in the family. If you go outside of how he designed his family, I'm putting you down. So his family also has like how I deem whatever. You don't have freedom to do whatever you want. But I do find it interesting. Like he is a family man because even though he's supposed to be like his king, his persona, like celestial dragon and stuff. But I noticed he is very patient with his family. Like they all have very different quirks about them that he's willing to put up with, right? But in Whitebeard's perspective, he's more of the protective father. Well, this dude's like, all right, I'm the family, but I'm the leader in this family. And you go outside and I kill you. That's Doflamingo. Or Whitebeard was more like, I'm the protective father, because also like what you brought out, Larry, he had a cause that if anyone, it was known fact throughout the world, you touch, you harm, you hurt any one of Whitebeard's family, his sons, Whitebeard's coming at you on himself, and he's going to probably kill you, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like a protection there, and so he had this cause of like everyone, and also like I said, he's willing to die for his family. Doflamingo was not willing to die from anyone in his family. There's a big difference there. So there's no greater love than someone who's willing to die for you.
But this is the difference too. Not to cut you off, Seb. But the difference is, Doflamingo had that family figure. He had that Whitebeard figure, where it was like, he cared more about family than status. You know what I'm saying? His father. And then what he realized was that people aren't nice. And what they will do is they'll destroy your family. But Doflamingo saw that his father figure as, you killed our family. You took us away from what protected us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, when I look at family, I've looked at it as like, people are going to betray you. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I have to act in accordance, because I can literally say that Doflamingo, when he witnessed Monet and Virgo sacrifice their lives for him, and they were happy to do so, he viewed that as a more endearment of love than what his father did. Where we have Whitebeard, who saw that Thatch died, did nothing. Yeah. But then he went after Ace. So clearly he has favorites, but then also his family got destroyed immediately after that.
So I feel you, but what you guys are arguing is the approach versus what it is in the actuality. You hear what I'm saying? Like Doflamingo's family isn't blood or anything. It's a mafioso-esque family, where if you mess up or if you're the cause for the downfall of the family, we will kill you ourselves. Like, we will allow you to die. We will kill you ourselves, because this is a mob mentality. We are a mob. I'm the Don. Mm-hmm. Y'all, my family, is the mafia family that we have, but y'all are still my subordinates / like assets. Yeah. If y'all are messing up, snitching, switching up, making mistakes, I reserve the right to kill you, because that's who you are. You're a pawn in my game.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you family. I'm going to keep you close. I'm going to protect you and all that stuff. I'm going to insulate you. But if you mess up, that's the stakes. Yeah. I will kill you. I reserve the right to do that. And they loved him so much, they were fine with that.
Yeah.
Monet was fine dying for him. Virgo was fine dying for him. Mm-hmm. And you're right. It does hit him emotionally, because he does actually care for these people.
Yeah.
But he will never care for them more than he cares for himself or his own ambitions. Because again, he wasn't in any real danger. It was just inconvenient to have Law and Luffy and them take Caesar. He could have figured it out with Kaido. Mm-hmm. It was just, this is mad inconvenient for me. Mm-hmm. I would rather sacrifice multiple members of my family than deal with that inconvenience.
Okay.
In Whitebeard's case, yes, in practice, you might agree that Doflamingo took care of his family situation better than Whitebeard does, because he nipped stuff in the bud. He was willing to let 2 die to protect the family. Whitebeard wasn't willing to make those sacrifices. He was willing to put the entire family at risk to save one son. You can argue the practicality of that if you want, but the genesis of the decision is love for these people, is love for that son. If Virgo or whoever, if Virgo got caught by the Marines that he was actually loyal to Doflamingo, he would never challenge any Marines. Like, he would never go to Marine Ford for Virgo. Or anybody. There's not a soul in the world that he would have went to Marine Ford to fight to get them back. Break into Impel Down to fight. He wouldn't do any of that. He'd be like, damn, that sucks. Got to chalk it up to the game. I'll see if I can get you out. I'll use my connects, maybe. It's not going to be what Whitebeard did. And even then, Whitebeard still showed, yo, I'm going to put myself on the line for y'all. Y'all can leave. Y'all came because y'all love and respect me and Ace. But if y'all don't want to be here, if y'all think I manipulated you to be here,
You can leave, yeah.
y'all can go.
You have that freedom.
Because I love y'all enough that I'll die to make sure y'all are safe. None of that is the case with Doflamingo.
Yeah.
He's a manipulator. Again, I'm not saying he doesn't care about the family. There's a different level. If you want to argue the practices of each of them as far as captaining the crews, listen, I'm a Dofi fan all day. I'll argue tooth and nail that he's a better captain than anybody. But
What?
I'm so serious. But you can't tell me he's a better family man than Whitebeard, bro. I'm sorry.
No, but also going back, I know I mentioned Bellamy, but if you want to go in that same case, Squardo. If Bellamy wasn't part of that family, Squardo in a way wasn't part of Whitebeard's immediate family because he wasn't part of his crew. He was like affiliate crew. Yet this man Squardo stabbed Whitebeard. Yet after he got stabbed, Whitebeard hugged him like a son. Said, "No, you are my son, and I value you. I'm willing to die for you." That's what I'm trying to. The difference where Doflamingo would treat someone in the same situation as Bellamy and Squardo is like, you're trash. You're trash to me. You know? Where Whitebeard's like, no, you're your son. Even though you're not part of my immediate family, you're still your son.
You had to be valuable to Doflamingo to even be considered potentially part of the family. I needed to have value. You needed to add something to the table. Whitebeard, it could have been... I don't care who your father is, etc. Like, it didn't matter. So,
because I think Bellamy was not really favored.
If
But as
Hidden
soon
was
as he
here-
started messing up, losing, it was
Listen,
like, it's
bro.
rap.
Hidden was here, he'd swing on you for your take, Larry.
I hope so. Because I catch that shit.
Hey yo.
So what I was saying was, overall, you were all right, but I could use that same argument, right? You talk about the detriment of what Dofi means to his crew. The detriment is just as high with Whitebeard. Because Whitebeard, to a degree, lives an abusive type of fatherly lifestyle. Like, if his kids ever acted out or turned against him, he wouldn't fight back against them, right? Like, he'd probably just let them swing off on him until, like, they felt better about this or felt bad about the situation. But that same type of love wasn't always the correct type of love. It was actually kind of toxic. Where, like, he allowed Ace to just go. He allowed Blackbeard to just get away with that. He allowed Thatch to just die. He allowed, like, everybody.
We didn't allow Thatch to die.
But,
He
like-
got stuck and
But
killed.
at the end of the day, like, you gotta punish sometimes your child. And, like, he didn't punish Squardo.
Okay, so
at all.
because the so two things. Because you're basically reprimanding Whitebeard because the retaliation or the punishment for the action wasn't immediate. He had every intention of dealing with Blackbeard.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
It's what?
Bro.
Like, literally, Shanks had to come on ship and be like, "Yo, you gonna handle this or not?"
Yo,
And he was like, "Yo, mind your business."
bruh. Y'all are wilding if y'all think Whitebeard was just letting it slide.
Okay, so why did him
What
and
did he
Ace
do?
argue? Why did him and Ace argue about it?
Yo, because Ace was trying to go right then by himself and just go. You know what I'm saying?
Dad, why
he
would
was
you
like,
wait?
yo, chill.
Why would you wait?
Let's figure this out.
This man is collecting a crew together.
my God, bro.
Literally left. And you being the world's strongest man having this threat to where people like Buggy say, you see that on Ace's back, you better not touch Ace because that gives you the permission.
Y'all are
like, you're
saying
gonna have a Yonko
Whitebeard
come after
didn't
him.
live up to the
Larry,
status that he
Larry.
got throughout the world. And that's fair. Go ahead.
I don't use your argument. Luffy went after her.
Yo, he would've.
We just talked about Kaido
would've.
going to the whole
He would've.
kill. Blackbeard legit killed a crew member.
Yeah, he would have.
And Whitebeard didn't. You know, didn't do
100%.
anything.
100%.
But Conqueror,
Listen,
I'm
what
going by
I'm
that
gonna
moment.
say is I think they're equal. But
Equal?
I think they're equal, but for different reasons. One is on one side of the coin because he retaliates, and the other one doesn't. You know what I'm saying? I think they're equal in love. It's just how you assume what's more love or not.
Yo,
and
Doflamingo,
where you're on the moral spectrum. Because I can look at it from Dofi's way and be like, yo, I understand why he feels this way about his crew and what he does. Like, I understand why he goes to such lengths. It's because he's seen it firsthand destroy his own family. Him and his younger brother, who he took care of, by the way, were eating out of garbage.
Man, listen.
Like, they were eating pure garbage at one point, throwing up from the garbage.
Yo, we talk about love, Larry. Like, actual love, bro.
Yo, his father was the epitome of that.
Doflamingo don't love nothing but himself, bro. You know what I'm saying? Nothing.
But if that was true, he just would have never came to Punk Hazard.
Nah, it's all still a means to an end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this all, he benefits from all of this. He still enjoys the company. He still enjoys having people do the work for him. He still cares about these people. I'm talking about love, bro. I'm talking about putting somebody before yourself. He's incapable of that action.
Yo, but
incapable.
What I just explained was he saw it firsthand. He saw that love and decided to go against it because it didn't serve him well. It didn't give him a better life.
Yo, that's fair, but it still makes him the character he is. He still acts the way he acts.
That's my point. It didn't create a deeper sense of love for him. It said, yo, this is the wrong type of love. This love will get you killed. I've seen it firsthand. Put it this way. We talk about fishermen and racism, right? And like how people just hate fishermen because they have fins and blue skin and whatever, right? Doflamingo, just coming into the world, was known as a celestial dragon. And people hated him for that. He did nothing to them until he started spouting the bend before me, put your knee, to the floor, like whatever. But ultimately, they just heard about them living there and went after to kill them. As children, he was hung by a window with his father and brother and heard his father begging for their lives. Because he put whatever morals he thought and to make his family a better, morally loving people into the forefront. And he saw that love, but then it backfired completely, where that doesn't really happen with Whitebeard, right? Because I said it before. It's about what type of power you already have in order to initiate that love. That love was toxic to him. It didn't serve him.
You're making excuses for
no. I got one right here.
All right.
But let's go this way. Let's put cortisone into this factor. He experienced the same thing Doflamingo did, right?
Thank you.
Look at his response. He actually became more loving. It was trying to share that love what his father had with others and try to save the law, because he realized that Doflamingo, the way he reacted towards what they both experienced, was more of a selfish way.
Okay. So I'll say this. Who got them out of the situation when they were tied up on the window? Dofy, right? Mm-hmm. Who didn't? Rosinante.
Their dad or Rosinante, neither.
Exactly. But that's also because, to a certain degree, Rosinante would let things happen to him. And that's the difference. He fought for law. He tried to show love, compassion for law. But it was the fact that Doflamingo was a survivor. And that's the difference, is that he was going to survive to make sure that what happened to him never happened again. Yes, Rosinante felt that love and distributed it, but ultimately he died, right? Mm-hmm. And it wasn't for himself, as we all proclaim, because it is for Dofy. But Dofy realizes that at the end of the day, I can't love if I'm dead.
Listen, man.
I think go ahead, Sebastian.
Yo, it's
the same coin. It's the same coin.
It is. But
it's funny because like what Doflamingo was shouting out when he was being hanged from the tree shows what was in his heart. Because he knows the reason why they're doing this is because of the way they were treated. The way they would treat others, the way the Celestial Dragons have been treated, and Doflamingo was raised with that. He saw nothing wrong with the way Celestial Dragons were raised. So that love wasn't nurtured in him at all. And he kind of showed that later on.
But he's also like 6 years old.
That's not even that is the genesis of it all. But I'm just saying, in the way that they conducted themselves as men to their families.
Yeah.
One of them was doing this out of true love for the people that was in his life, and the other one was doing it because these people were beneficial to him. You can slice it however you want. You can justify it however you want. You can use whatever perspective you want to make what Doflamingo did like seem better to you. But at the end of the day, that's the truth. And Whitebeard actually cared about the people he called his sons. Yeah. Doflamingo cared to a degree. There was a benchmark. There was a threshold he was never willing to cross, and it was putting himself in real danger for them.
But this is the thing too, right? That they both came from a lack of love. Doflamingo had a distorted type of perspective around love and what celestial dragons actually taught him because they are educated in their ways and to believe certain things. And he fully believed that. But he's a child. We can't judge a child for thinking that his reality is wrong when his reality is taught to him. But even so, right? You're talking about nature versus nurture. You know, what's inside of you compared to what's on the outside of you and what influences your own self-being. And it's like, to a degree, Whitebeard, he wasn't loved as a child from what we've seen, but he's always had the power to dismantle anybody that's ever threatened him. And that's my point regarding these two individuals. And this is what I said in the beginning, is that, yes, like Doflamingo does seem psychotic. He is psychotic. But overall, he's also seen what the love that he's realized what love can do. Love isn't always a great thing. Love can be super poisonous, or it could be super it could give you gratification beyond belief, right? But there are times where like love is a drug, and it's addictive, and it's destructive. And like that's what he realized, was that the opposite end of love isn't always the best thing. I have to somehow be within the middle grounds of it. I know what's not to be taken advantage of, and I know what's going to take advantage of me. And what I'm saying is like, yes, the way he did things was crazy, but it ultimately was maybe Doflamingo loved too hard. And Whitebeard loved, like, I'm serious. And maybe Whitebeard, I'm serious. Yo, bro.
Yo, Dofi one of my favorite characters, bro. You gotta chill out.
Did you say Doflamingo loved too hard?
Yo, maybe he did. And that's what
if you're saying what pushed him. Loved himself too hard. You know what I mean?
But it's both. It's both.
I'm gonna show you this right now.
I saw him throw shoot his blood.
Real love is not toxic. People love wrong, and people have misunderstanding.
1,000%. Yo,
misunderstanding of what real love is.
Whitebeard didn't love correctly either.
Yo, but they human. End of the day, they're human. They gotta make mistakes. Yo, but you're knocking Whitebeard for his mistakes, but you're giving Doflamingo credit for his.
No. I'm not giving Doflamingo any credit. I'm just trying to present an idea that maybe he's not truly the monster that we all think he is. Maybe he was forced to be that monster.
See, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying but yes, he was nurturing that. But the main thing is you have legit
example of somebody who went through the same thing, bro.
You have Corazon. But also, I will say this. But when they're young age, though, it was more nurtured for Doflamingo. Only aspect when Trable and the other ones kind of met Doflamingo, they nurtured that false sense of superiority in Doflamingo. Like, he would trip on the ground in some place.
And they'd burn it
to the ground. They would burn it to the ground. Like, you're a king. You can't do that. Yeah. Someone would mistreat him or say something, look at him wrong. They would go and destroy that entire village. So they built up this wrong thing. Even, we saw it when Doflamingo was a grown man. When he was about to get dropped by Luffy or Law, they said, do not let your knees touch the ground because you're special. Right? So Corazon didn't receive that, but in a way, Corazon had more towards it. He's imperfect too, but had more of a example of what real love is in Doflamingo, because Doflamingo was all self-centeredness.
Yo, I can actually argue this. Maybe the truth of the matter is the only reason Rocinante actually knew how to love the way he did was because of Dofi.
Killing his dad?
Larry, you're getting wild.
No, hold on.
Wild today.
Hold on.
I just agree with Larry. He's going crazy right now.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Hold on for a second, guys. What I'm saying is that Rocinante and his dad never get out of that situation. They just end up dying, right? So it forces Dofi to do such things. And you just mentioned that Doflamingo was sort of nurtured from Diamante and Trouble to believe that he's of a certain kingly ambition, right? Where he's never to have his knees touch the floor and etc. Right?
Yeah.
What if I told you through that he garnered family because he wanted family, and then Rosinante viewed him as that, but he didn't like the way Doflamingo went about getting this family. He didn't like the way he would go out and like kill people or manipulate people or take over kingdoms and such, right? But ultimately, when he met Law, and Law is 12 years old, I believe, and he says to Law, while him and his family are eating dinner together, right? He says to Law, "How did you escape Fleabland's kingdom?" And then Law responds, "Well, I don't really know. I just was trying to escape." And then Law goes, "Well, I hid under some dead bodies as well." And then Gladius almost throws up on like his food while they're eating, right? And then Doflamingo's next question, and this is what I'm trying to tell everybody. The next question was, "Who do you bear your grudge against?" And Law said, literally, "Nobody. I just want to kill as many people as I can before I die." And he starts laughing. So Doflamingo right there views Law as probably as his younger self.
Yeah.
He had this huge grudge against the world because of what happened to him. So
true.
Yes, his love may be twisted, but I don't think that it's the darker side of the coin for sure, but I don't think it's to the point where we can't say he doesn't love at all. Like, there is a certain type of love. It's just the way he goes about it. Like, Rosinante might have seen that and garnered, like, damn, like, he loves really hard.
Yo, but I could argue the opposite. He could have saw Law as, yo, I can easily manipulate this child.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, he might have seen a semblance of himself in that, yes. But it's like, oh, I can get this kid to do my bidding. I can groom him into being the number 2. Like, that's what the game plan was.
That was the game
plan. I can get this child to do whatever. He's going to die soon anyway. Like, that's it. There's value in this.
Yes.
This is a child who's willing to do these crazy things, and his life is expendable to me.
Yo, but that's my point too. It was because, like I said before, it was about status, right? Like, Doflamingo saw that endearment from this person willing to sacrifice their life for him as a term of love. Whereas his father didn't do that. His father actually sacrificed his kids and wife.
Yeah. Hey.
So what I'm saying is,
we've been on this too long.
Wait,
yo, but
Larry,
it's so interesting.
Larry,
It's
doesn't
interesting.
his dad offer his life
Yo,
to
he
try and
does.
save him and his brother?
He does.
He does.
Yes, but he also
He
viewed
does.
it. But
he
they,
went down to the surface not expecting the world to hate them,
hold
and then they
up.
start hating them,
You-
and his wife dies. And then when they're about to kill Dofi, his son, and Rosinante, he's like, "Don't kill my sons, kill me."
Hold up,
So he does that.
You
father does
asked
that.
this question. You posed this. You did this. Okay? You posed the question. So how you gonna be like, Dofi's wrong in this situation?
Wait a second. Listen, I haven't even gone to state my argument.
Go ahead,
Y'all
man.
been going for like 30 minutes. Well, y'all have given me a lot of thoughts at this time. Okay, what? Okay, I know what I'm gonna say now. Yeah, I'm kind of on Larry's side. Whitebeard's a bad father.
Yo,
And,
that's not the question though. That wasn't your
that's the
question. You said who's a
The
better
question was,
family
who's a better
man.
family man? The question is, who's a better family man? And I'm saying Doflamingo was a better family man. Because the question is, you guys are talking about like love versus what was it? Competence. It was like love versus competence. And to me, being a good like head of your family is while yes you love your family, you would do anything for them. If your kids aren't competent and they can't take care of themselves, like you're not gonna be around forever. You're gonna die.
Okay, hold on.
You're gonna die at some point.
Cause this is some right here. Whitebeard ran his crew for like 40 years, yo. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
fine. And when he got
we
sick, he
crumbled.
should have known he was gonna die.
We crumbled in the last 2 years, and Doflamingo with
Nah,
his little 10-year
he was sick for way longer than that, bro. He was sick for way longer than that.
Yo, but Thatch
Whitebeard
didn't
knew
die. Hold
he
on.
was going to
But
die and leave his crew behind.
Thatch didn't die. Like, it all crumbled when Thatch died, right? Which was 6 months.
No, it was crumbling before that.
Yo, it might have been crumbling,
It
but
was straight up crumbled.
nothing major happened that you would have been like, he's a bad father. Thatch's death was the spark, right? Doflamingo has
I guess, but it was just the inevitable happening.
Doflamingo has a fraction of the time in and lost The same number of crewmates.
Yo, can I just make?
What are we
Can I
talking
just?
about?
Can I just?
No. Hold up.
What are you talking about? Wait. Wait.
Okay, listen. I am willing to make the argument, and this might be a wild take. I'm willing to make the argument that the what's his name? Whitebeard's division commanders are weaker, or at least not as strong, or at least equal to Dofi's crew.
All right, yo.
Yo, can I just
I'm
say?
willing to sit on that. I'm willing to say that if we took away their captains, guys, if we took away Dofi and Whitebeard and said, okay, 12 division commanders, Marco, Ace, all of them, versus what is it, Treble, Lao G, Pika, and they go head to head, it's not an easy fight for the Whitebeard.
I'm here to
because
tell
Marco
you
is
this.
this. When you have Whitebeard, you get Marco.
All right, hold on. I do want to say one thing before we end it. You know that Doflamingo's whole thing was trying to obtain the op fruit, and what's the op fruit shaped like?
A heart.
A heart?
That's love.
No.
Oh my God.
That's
Yo,
love.
okay.
Yo,
I'm
I'm telling
you,
you,
man.
it all connects,
Stop
bro.
it.
Please
You're
stop.
you're
Please stop.
He's
Oh my
trying
goodness.
to obtain a heart because he has
Oh my
none.
goodness.
That's what it actually is.
Dude.
That's the actual
Okay.
symbolism.
I'm just gonna ask one
Oh
question.
my God,
So
that upset me. That,
so
that
we
bothered
can
me.
ask one question. What is the opposite of love?
Hate.
Hate?
It's not hate.
Indifference?
What is it? Hate? What is it?
It's not hate.
What is
Isn't it indifference?
No, it's not indifference. The opposite
Okay,
of
I'm
love. The opposite of love is selfishness. If you are selfish, you cannot be loving. Because, for example, if you love someone, you're not gonna do what they hate. So you should probably hate what.
That's not true, bro.
No, yeah, you're not gonna do what they
Nah,
hate.
bro. Because if I'm selfish to a degree, I love myself.
What we're talking
And
about-
loving myself is the best love.
That's the Dofi love.
That's
what we're
the
trying.
best love.
And that's
alright?
why, this is
I
why
can
you
never
argue your
do
point.
me wrong. All right. Fight. Rebuttal that, Lawrence.
That's selfishness.
Okay,
If you
I
if
have
you
one
only
very
love
quick
yourself,
question.
If you
All
only love
right,
yourself,
go
That's
ahead because we
just
gotta take another call.
I have a
Go
very
ahead.
quick question.
Yeah.
Okay, we saw when Whitebeard died, his crew fell apart, and it's not because of Thatch. Okay, when Whitebeard died, that crew was finna fall apart. Like Whitebeard died, and who died? Ace is dead, Thatch is dead, Ezo is dead. We don't know who else is around. But Dofi's crew just got captured because the Marines were there. So let's say this. Let's say Dofi just randomly passes away, right? And Whitebeard just randomly passes away, and the remnants of their crew are left to just figure it out. Do you think Whitebeard's crew is holding together?
No, they got Marco.
Yo, hold on.
You are Marco.
Who's unite? Like you're
bro, Virgo was a problem.
What are we
Virgo
talking?
was crazy strong, but
What
Virgo
are we
was a
talking
problem.
about right now, bro?
Marco has never been anyone's problem.
Yo.
All right, this is a whole other discussion.
Yo,
yeah,
what?
We're gonna save it at that. We're gonna save it at that.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah.
But listen, man.
Okay.
Thank you for calling. Thank you for the question. It definitely was
a
an
great
interesting topic. Yeah, thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Yeah,
You too, man. Talk to you later.
We'll talk later. That was a good
Dead,
question.
bro.
Yo, guys, if you haven't liked the video just yet, like the video, please. Also, we're having game night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to come to our Discord, link is in the bio. Not bio, description.
Yeah, we got a couple super chats before we take another call. We got Luffy needs to try some booty meat. $10. It says just wanted to hear you say my name. Hashtag
Pause.
Bucky Gang.
Pause.
Hashtag Lucci Larry.
Say my
Oh my! Come on, Lawrence. We got a $2 super chat from Strahd. It says Lucci Larry or I will cut you. Thank you, Strahd. We got a $5 super chat from KJ. It says, my guys, just a thought. What honestly makes more sense so far in the series? Vegapunk dying, Law, or both? P.S. Larry, I ain't forget our talk. And it's eyes. It was KJ.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what that means, but I assume you do.
I don't think so.
I guess the answer, I think it depends on if you're talking about right now, because I could see Vegapunk dying for sure, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think you can just off-screen Law in this situation. We have the MacGuffin of his immortality surgery that needs to play out. That's a
You just said MacGuffin?
Chekhov's gun. That's what I meant to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's whatever. It's there's something that needs to happen in the story later date.
To me, that makes more sense. I don't see how it makes sense for Law to die.
Yeah.
Depends on the circumstances. But I think, is that the last soup? I think so.
Yeah. All right. Put
Yep.
back on the phone number, Marv.
That was a good conversation, bro. You was wilding though, Larry. You was
Listen,
doing whatever
man.
you took to cape for Dofy just then, bro. And
I
that's
was
my
just
guy.
saying, man.
You gotta mention that you're trolling because that was wild.
He wasn't, yo. He meant that on some level, bro. Yeah, but the thing is, the argument isn't. Later. Yeah, Jet.
Hey, what's going on? This is Larry from That One Piece Talk. Who are you and how are you?
This is Terrence. I'm doing good.
Hey, what up, Terrence?
What up, man?
Hello, hello.
What's going on? What's going on?
What's your question, man?
Well, before I get to my question, I gotta say one little comment. The last little call was wild. I gotta say, Larry, there are plenty of people who went through extremely tragic things and not turned out to be evil psychopaths. Just have to say that.
Yeah, that's
Right,
true.
bro.
That's true.
And okay, here's the thing. I think Kaido was awakened, and I think that the dragon was his awakening. And here's why I say that: because his fruit is the fish fruit monocereal, right? You know what the story of the cereal is?
Yeah.
It's about it started out as a carp,
Yeah.
and it went up the dragon waterfall, and when the carp went all the way up, and the gods rewarded it and turned it into a dragon. That's the cereal, either a dragon. So I think that's what happened with Kaido. I think that he started it out when he got the fruit. It started out as a carp, and then he awakened it and became a dragon. Just look at it as an example. Look at Luffy, for example. Now his fruit is the human fruit model Nika, but he's not Nika until he awakens. Before that he's just a simple rubber man, and then when he awakens he's a rubber hose man. And then and then you also look at the fact that awakening is when your mind and body catch up to your powers. So Kaido is all about strength and being the strongest. So he started off as like a weak carp, but he got strong, had this strong mentality. His mind and body catch up to his powers, and he became the strongest creature, a dragon. What do y'all think about that?
Go first.
I'm saying the translation wise, with the update translation, I'm pretty sure it wasn't referred that it was a dragon fruit, not a fish fruit, like a real fish fruit, correct?
No, they did. Big Mom said she gave him a mythical version of the fish fruit, the ua fruit, which is fish.
Okay, so I gotta look more into that because what I understand is that I believe he wasn't awakened. I mean, we didn't see his awakened form. I believe he had the ability to awaken his fruit, and which kind of gives more evidence to that. Just an example, because there's more, but I'm gonna use a simple one because it's still fresh in our minds. What Vegapunk said, he recreated the same Kaido's fruit, and Momo has it. Momo's already in dragon form, but he says he's not sure if the ability can achieve an awakened form. So right here we see that the original form of the fruit itself is actually a dragon, but it's still yet to see if the artificial one can actually awaken.
Hold on though.
Okay.
What he said actually was he's not sure if Zoan can awaken, but if Kaido's fruit is already awakened, that wouldn't even be a problem. He never necessarily said, I don't know if Kaido's fruit is awakened.
So Terrence, to defend Lauren's point there, if that's the point, if that's the thought process that Oda's going with, he just wouldn't have that Vegapunk even say that. You know what I mean? Like if that's what's actually happening, then Vegapunk, being the smartest man ever who can recreate Devil Fruits, wouldn't make the statement. You know what I mean? Like, why would you get that statement from that character in that moment if the case is that you have to unlock it in this way? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think that's how Oda writes. But to me,
not necessarily. It could be a throw off.
It could be. That's just weird to me. To me, I go back and forth with Kaido on the awakening thing because he straight up said, like, you have to do this thing. Like, awakening is once your mind and body do this, right? So, like, to me, that tells me he's awakened. Whether we saw it or not, I don't have anything for that because there's times where he looked a little different in his hybrid mode, and there's times where he had different modes and stuff. Like, is that the awakening? I don't know, but like to me, he's awakened. I just don't know if we saw it or not, and I don't know if we'll ever actually get clarification unless it's in an SBS or something, which is trash. I'm not even gonna lie. I defend Oda a lot. That's trash. There's no reason why he couldn't make it easily quantifiable, easily clarifiable that Kaido was or was not awakened when he was fighting. So
to me, it goes into like how much Kaido was holding back during the fight.
Nah, bro.
Because
again, when you're writing an arc with this much buildup and this much anticipation and everything, and people are awakening their Del fruits, like, have Luffy overcome that. That's more engaging for your audience. That's a climax.
That's true.
I shouldn't have to question whether or not the dude that we were fighting at the end of the battle was awakened or not.
No, I get that. I agree. But the thing is, if Kaido, as strong as Kaido we saw he was with his Haki and everything and all that he was, if dude had used his awakened form, how does Luffy beat him? If Luffy can't
then he can't.
That's true.
Then you loses again, bro, and something else has to happen. Whatever. Like, or he just is strong enough. Like, or the Nika fruit allows him to be strong enough to win that fight. You can write it any way you want. What you shouldn't do is write it so that I have to answer this question on the podcast today. He's asking me whether or not Kaido was awake. Like, I shouldn't have to answer that.
Yeah, that's
4 months after the fight finished, bro.
Also, too, doesn't Oda we only seen like 2 full-on Zoan awakens, right? But he gave us evidence, clear as day, like plain, like you don't have to guess this is awakened because I'm telling you it's awakened.
That's my point.
We got that with
How
Luffy.
hard was that with Kaido?
But doesn't that mean that it said something? We got that with Luffy. We got that with Lucci. And if we didn't get that with Kaido, I believe it's point blank to say that we didn't see his awakened form because he didn't show it to be obvious. He gave us no credit at all to believe it was awakened from the beginning. Because also, too, when does an awakened form have a hybrid form? When did we see that? When did all this stuff we see what Kaido using? We all looked at that was like he had the Zoan, the full-on dragon form, which everyone saw. So every time he goes to use his ability, it's just awakened form. Luffy doesn't even do that.
True, but think about this though. Like, if his original form was a carp, would you, if you awaken and become a dragon, would you go back to being just a carp?
Probably not, but.
And then also, like, I feel what you're saying, Seb. I agree with you. I think he should have definitely clarified it. I get on Oda for that too. But there's another thing where I say that he is awakened. Another trait of awakened Zoans is their regenerative capabilities or whatever. Look at the stamina that could explain the stamina that Kaido had, especially like. We never really saw signs of exhaustion from Kaido. Like, even when we were stated he was getting exhausted, like when they noticed that the rocks was falling, and they're like, "Dang, Kaido must be weakening." His performance wasn't weakening at all. Mm-hmm. Like he stayed at top. He stayed pretty much at top performance until he was knocked out. And I think that has something to do with Zoan awakening, regenerative capability.
Larry, I'm gonna give your take real quick, but like I just thought of something. Yo, if Big Mom gave Kaido a fruit that was just a carp, yo, she's an asshole. Yo, here's this carp fruit. Figure it out, bro. Like, become great maybe, or suck. It doesn't matter. Like, yo, that's trash.
Big Mom,
you're a carp. Maybe you become a dragon one day.
No, Big Mom showed that she kind of knew what type of fruit it was because it says, you still owe me after I gave you that fruit.
Because it worked out. That's after the fact. If she gave the fruit with the intention of being like, yo, here's a carp fruit.
See, the thing is, I got to see the full name of it because, did they say model type for it?
I believe so.
Because there's different, if you use different.
Like, it was the model series.
Mother cereal, right? Because like if you think about it, because I was noticing in the chat too, so I'm not gonna take it. It was my thought. They're saying that, like, for example, there's different types of canines. There's different types of cats. There's the cat fruit model leopard. There's a cat fruit model panther. There's a cat, So it's like all these other animals, it's still a cat, but are feline. But there's different types. There's tigers. There's lions. There's leopards. And then there's canines. There's wolves. There's foxes. There's dogs. There's coyotes. So it could be the dog fruit modeled this. We have the dog fruit modeled mythical for Yamato, but it's still in a way a dog. So if they're going by the cat, the fish fruit model Azuna, that's a dragon. You get what I'm saying? So I'm saying that because that was a shout out to the chat. Whoever was saying that, I'm giving you credit. I just didn't. I glanced there, so I didn't see the name. But they were mentioning that. So to me, that believes to show that the entire time it was a dragon.
Probably.
The model type was a dragon.
Probably, but at the same time, if you think about it, it is the model dragon, model Shiryu, and the story of the Shiryu is that it was a carp that became a dragon. Especially since it overall is a fish fruit anyway.
Even
And
beyond that
about
though,
the
Terrence, if devil fruits are this dream that people are creating and manifest, who's manifesting it to be a carp first? Like, why would you be like, yo, go through the struggle of the carp?
I want to be a fish that turns into a dragon.
Man, like, yo, I'm a dragon, bro. Like, that's what I am.
Who's manifesting the jacket fruit though? I mean, who wants to be?
Somebody was cold. Somebody was cold as hell. You feel me?
And they wanted to warm their other people, I guess.
There's plenty of fruits where you like who would argue I want to be this or that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Larry?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've talked about it so heavily before. I think when people make Kaido's devil fruit more interesting in tale than the mangaka himself, just says enough about Wano. So, it's always going to be a question in the air if he was awakened or not. In my opinion, if 𝙑𝙦𝙪's awakened, he's awakened. There's nothing that 𝙑𝙑𝙪 has ever gone through in his entire life that has ever stated that he is more experienced than Kaido. He's more talented than Kaido. He's more of a beast than Kaido. He has a better devil fruit than Kaido. He has a better mentality than Kaido. He has better Haki than Kaido. He has a better anything. There's nothing at all that states that 𝙑𝙑𝙪 is anywhere equivalent to that. Yeah. So, in my opinion, I agree with Lawrence. He fought to his competition, had a realization of Joy Boy, never entered in awakened mode, and he's the only character in the entire series that has ever stated, I know how this works.
Facts. And then didn't use it, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's where it's like...
I disagree. I think he was using it the whole time. You know, like sometimes they say the simplest thing is right in front of your face. I think that's the case with Kaido.
I mean...
He started off at the top, rose up to the top, and became the strongest creature, a dragon.
Terrence,
you can think that, but there's not that proof.
Listen,
we
all headcanon to make things that don't make sense to us. It's okay. Yep. You feel me? I do it too. You know what I mean?
I think it makes plenty of sense.
I think Momo is a prime example of what we get.
Yeah, that was checkmate.
Yeah.
Momo.
Because there would be no reason for Vegapunk to be like, oh, what color was that dragon? Yeah. Because then he would have been like, oh, he's a dragon? He's awakened.
Carp.
Yeah.
You feel me? Yeah, was he a carp first? Like that? None of that came up. None of that was ever.
Like I said, he was already. If he was already awakened, if it was already a dragon,
but here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. You talking about him awakening, and it's like he had to experiment on him, so he was awakened whenever he experimented on him, which was probably decades ago. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's a lot about Kaido. Especially since he was always a beast from when he was 10 years old. He was called the ultimate soldier.
I don't know, T.
See, the thing is, what we're trying to say is we believe that he had awakening, but we just didn't see it. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, he definitely awakened his ability, but he didn't show it to us because he didn't feel the need to. He held back with Luffy. Because also, have you noticed when Luffy he barely blocked punches or dodged, but even when he got hit, not once did he Haki harden his dragon scales. You know how tough it would have made to he would have probably felt nothing if he did that. He didn't do that once. So awakening form.
I think he was Conqueror's Haki coding himself.
Nah,
but
he didn't. Only to attack.
Yeah, I feel you. Either way, there's no proof. There's no definitive proof either way. So we'll never know for sure. Mm-hmm. Y'all believe that he didn't show his awakening. I believe that the dragon is his awakening. You can leave it at that. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Terrence, we appreciate the call, man.
Yeah.
Anytime.
You're welcome. All right, man.
Have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night. Have a good night.
All right, I think we got one more super chat before we get out of here. We got a $5 super chat from our guy Nerd Taku. It says, "I refuse to believe a model only happens when you awakening. If Big News Morgans is an awakened as a bird model albatross, I'll eat 100 volumes of One Piece." Taku, don't make those kind of bets online, bro. They'll hold you to it, bro. They will.
Yes, but I just want to say thank you to everybody that joined us on episode 83 of that One Piece Talk. Truly amazing. Thank you. I will be on Nerd Taku's Theory for Theory tomorrow. I believe he said at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., something like that. I have a video coming out, most likely this Thursday or Friday. It's going to be a banger theory. It's going to be about 17 minutes again for the third time in a row. Don't know why it keeps going to 17 minutes, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be a very good ride. And then other than that, we have the Davies Dark Tournament on Wednesday.
It'll probably be a little later this time. I have to... I'm going to be in the hotel and stuff.
Yeah, we're going to do that. That's going to be good, too. So everybody come through. And then game night is tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you want to join and play some Among Us, come by. Just join our Discord. Other than that, my name is Larry.
Lawrence.
Sam.
And this is that One Piece Talk. Jana.